Welcome to Living Simply, a guide to mindful living and mindful parenting with your host, Dr. Gina.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Living Simply with Dr. Gina Madrigrano. Hey, Dr. Gina, how are you?
I'm good, Ben. How are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you. So, what's going on with you today?
Well, today I started a 7-day self-care challenge in my women's group, which means they're going to create new habits. So I thought we should talk about how do we create new habits, because it can be quite challenging to let go of old habits and start new ones. So yeah, I thought we should talk about that today.
Yeah, so creating new habits, that is definitely something that's challenging. And something that I feel like I'm constantly trying to do is create new positive habits.
Yeah.
But you've sort of broken it down into 10 steps for us.
Yep.
Do you want to let us know, let's just, first way to climb a mountain, take the first step. What's the first step?
So the first step is to set an intention. So be conscious and aware what's the habit you want to create and why you want to create it. So setting an intention and getting really, really clear on where you're headed. That's the first step.
Yeah, I guess you can't really know where you're going unless you decide that you're going to go there, right?
Yeah.
That makes
You don't do it, randomly or vaguely. It's pretty hard to change a habit. If your example, I want to be healthy. Well, everyone wants to be healthy. So you got to set an intention, what healthy looks like and where you want to be headed regarding your health. So setting an intention, go, this is what I want to do, is pretty important.
Yeah, that makes sense. It is pretty simple. All right, step 2.
Step 2, and that's really important. It's to break it down into micro goals. So I'll use an example because it's easier. Let's say you want to work out ultimately 5 times a week and you're not working out now. It's unrealistic to go, okay, tomorrow I'm going to work out 5 days a week. So start with intermediate goals and intermediate goals and tiny goals. So let's start with working out for the next week or two times a week. So you can experience the success there. Then the third week, up it to 3 times a week and do that for 2 or 3 weeks. And then you up it to 4 times a week. So you want to break it down in achievable goals. So between point A and B, there'll be multiple little goals you want to reach and succeed getting there.
Awesome. Yeah, why? I feel like that's the thing that gets us just disheartened and discouraged about things is that we set our intention. Like everybody's good on the first step. We set our intention, and then we think that we're going to climb that mountain in a single leap, to use the analogy that I used earlier, and then we don't. And that's and then we get discouraged. So I love breaking it down into micro goals. That seems perfect. When I was a kid, I used to get in trouble a lot. I had to go to summer school, and summer school had no buses, and my mom didn't drive, and my dad worked all day, so I had to walk home from summer school, and it was a couple miles, and it was a lot for me to walk all the way home in like middle school. From there a few miles, and I couldn't wrap my head around it, but I just pretended like I was walking to the next tree every time, and it's something that I still use to this day, so I love that.
I use that too. Like I don't like jogging, but sometimes I do. So It's okay. I'm just going to get to the next corner. And then, okay, then the next corner, it's easier to do it than I'm going to run for a half hour. It's too discouraging.
Yeah, it really is. Step number 3.
Creating strong triggers. So cues that will make you achieve the step. Example, if you want to work out in the morning, right next to your bed, you put your workout clothes, your shoes, your socks, your gym pants, yoga pants, whatever it is, so that there's not much time to change your mind, because your mind will always try to talk you out of it. So it's putting a cue that's very strong versus I'll put a note, I'm going to work out. Well, if the shoes are there, or for some people, yoga, if your yoga mat is right next to you, you're more likely to do it. I don't remember who I heard saying this last week, but this person was even sleeping in their exercise outfit. I don't think it would be comfortable, but if it works, why not? So triggers that really are connected to whatever you want to do. So today, for example, in my self-care challenge, people want to be less on their cell phones. So I broke it down over 7 days, but today's challenge was remove all your push notifications. Well, if you leave them there, it's very hard to ignore them. So removing them is a first step, a first cue to reducing your screen time. So strong triggers are very important.
I just loved this. There's an artist that did this. That did this, and I want to get the name of the artist right, so I'm going to get that in a second. But they posted this thing today, and Allie used it as the backdrop for her phone for tomorrow. Yeah, it says, so for those listening on the podcast, it says, do I need to look at my phone right now, or do I just need to close my eyes and breathe?
Yeah.
And that was like, she said, like, take this and put it as your phone's screensaver, so every time you look at it, that's what it says. And I'm trying to get the artist name. It's Raniban, at Raniban, Raniban, if anybody wants to check it out. But yeah, I loved it so much.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So what's make sure, so what is our next step? Yeah.
So the next step, I sort of touched a little bit on it, is to start small. So don't make the goal too huge that you're so likely to fail that it's hard to get going. So if you want to run 26-mile marathons, well, start with running 2 miles and then create a new goal. So you really want to start small for the initial goal, but also some people, like some people want to transform their lives. So I'm going to change this, and they have like 5 or 6 target goals. And I'm like, that's too much. When I work with my clients, we break down their goals over 1 year, and then we break them down over quarters. So, okay, for the next 3 months, pick 2 or 3 target behavior. That's it. You don't want to change too many things, create too many habits all at once. It's too much. So I always tell them, start small. You don't need to transform your whole life all at once, because it's not going to work.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess it's just one of those. It's why you break it down into micro goals, right? Because if you're not doing that, then you're going to get easily discouraged. So that makes sense to me. So our next step.
The next step is also important, is to connect it to your why. So you don't want to connect it to a goal, because a goal is pretty abstract. Whereas the why is connected to your values and what matters to you. So every time you're not going to want to do what you say you're going to do, you got to remind yourself why you're doing it, the cost of not doing it, and how it's going to hurt to not do it, versus it's just a goal. So example, like I said, I want to be healthy. It is too abstract. Or I'm thinking of a dad who he gained weight and he has young children and he would get tired. He can't play soccer with them. So losing weight was too abstract. So why do you want to lose weight? Because he also had a health scare. Because I want to be there for my boys. I want to be there to play soccer with them instead of just look from the sidelines. And I don't want to die from a heart attack and then they end up without a dad. So if he's about to not do whatever the healthy eating, exercise, he remembers that versus I want to lose weight. He pictures his kids without a dad, and that's connected to his values. So your why is very, very important.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's something that we all skip over most of the time. That's definitely one that I feel like we definitely skip over is why we're doing things. We're all focused on like the losing of the weight or the running the marathon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or making lots of money or something. But whatever the habit is that you're trying to create, but the why is so important. Our next one.
Plan for failure. So people
No one does this. No one does this.
If you plan for failure, so I tell my clients, okay, on the road to wherever you want to go, what is likely to stop you? What's likely to stand in your way? So example, we look a lot at mindset. So thoughts that could go, I'll just do it tomorrow. Okay, so if you can identify what will make you not follow through, whether it's people that stand in your way or you stand in your own way, when that thing happens, if you're very present and mindful, you're going to catch yourself. You're going to go, oh, I'm BSing myself out of it. If I keep at it, I'm not going to follow through. So if you plan for failure, you know what will lead to failure. So when those things happen, you can identify them and then course correct and not fall on the wayside.
Yeah.
So example with healthy eating, if you're trying to be careful with your nutrition, catch yourself if you're in the supermarket, if you're in the middle aisles where there's most of the junk food, you're moving your cart over there. Catch yourself. And if you're about to go, I won't buy anything, I just want to look. Well, there you go. Catch yourself. Yeah, no, I'm not just going to look. I'm going to pick something and I'm going to find excuses. So then you turn back and you go in the other aisles on where the healthy food is. So we break down all the micro steps, all the hurdles or things that could happen that would lead a person to fail. And then we plan for that not to happen. So that's important.
Next.
An important thing is to track your progress because it's self-reinforcing. So if, for example, you want to start working out, put it in your calendar. And when you do it, check mark or track it. So for me, I write it down. What did I do today? And it's just nice to see on your calendar, oh, I did this, I did that. And research shows when you track your progress, you're more likely to follow through. And it's reinforcing, and you get this little, like the star and you used to get in grade 1. it helps. Also, it helps you keep track. So if people are watching what they eat, if they track what they're putting in their mouth, people who are struggling with sleep, if they track their screen time, their habits, when you track your behavior, you're more likely to change it, because again, you can't fool yourself. If you put it out there, you're less likely to tell yourself stories to talk yourself out of it.
Right. What gets measured gets managed.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Next.
Surround yourself with successful and positive people. So you're more likely to succeed. You see it so many times. Let's say someone tries to stop drinking alcohol, and their buddies are like, come on, just one more beer. So if you're the only one who's trying to stop drinking and everyone is drinking around you, you're more likely to fail because of peer pressure. But if you surround yourself with people you look up to and you want to emulate, like in a positive way, then these people can inspire you to be better and to follow through. So if you hang out with other people who work out, let's say, you're more likely to work out. But if you're the only one, it's easier to let go of your goals and your good habits. So surround yourself with people that you admire.
Yeah.
And won't bring you down.
Yep. They say that you are the sum of the 5 people that you spend your time with. Do you believe that?
Yeah, your net worth is your network. I do. My dad always told me to always hang out with people more successful and smarter than you, so I could learn from them and they could rub off me. And when you're the best of all your group, you're the best. You get full of yourself and you get lazy, complacent, because everyone around you they're looking up to you. So it's nice to have a balance, not to be the best one all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Your 9th step.
So once you're clear on all the other steps, then it's time to start planning. So when I work with my clients based on their jobs and stuff, we plan like on Sunday. I say, sit down, plan your week. So let's say it's self-care. We do a lot. So plan your self-care first, then plan everything around it. Plan your time off, and then you plan work. And then your whole week is in your schedule. And then every day, at the end of the day, you go over how it went, and then you tweak it. So if you need to tweak it for the next day, you tweak it to increase the odds of the habit sticking. So you do a weekly review and then a little review every night, and you plan for the next day and you readjust, because, life happens and things are unpredictable, or let's say you don't feel too good, or things get moved around. So it keeps you on track. It helps you to keep track of what you're doing, your progress and your schedule, and you're less likely to fail that way.
Yeah, absolutely. We have one more step. I think that the planning once a week and then reviewing daily. These are all. I have a bigger framed comment, and I'm going to wait until we have our last one. What's our final step?
The most important one is be patient. If you're not patient, you're going to give up easily. If I can give a personal example. So I used to work out a lot before I had my daughter. And then I had a C-section. Then that screwed things up. And then I tried working out again, but when you have the hormones of nursing, you get hyper flexible, and I was flexible. I kept getting injured. So So I gave up for a little while, and it was always start and stop, start and stop. It's like I could never stick to it. So finally, my ultimate goal was to go back to the gym. And I was like, I'm not spending $100 a month and then I'm going to quit because it's 1-year contract. And I'm like, that's wasted money. So I had to earn my gym membership. And the way I did it was literally start small. I started with 10 guy push-ups a day, worked my way to 20 push-ups a day. And then I decided, okay, I would do 5-minute HIIT exercises. So from YouTube. So I'm like, there's no way I don't have 5 minutes. And that's how I started. And it took 2 years to get to the point where I was so consistent that I was like, okay, I can do this. I can go to the gym. And I went for a whole year. Then COVID hit. So I canceled my gym membership. But that's what I tell my clients. It was slow, but at least I was working out every day, to, push-ups, planks, sit-ups, little 5-minute exercises here and there, till it became a habit that not doing it was more painful than doing it. So be patient. Don't go, I should do this in 1 week, 2 weeks. Trust your body. Be patient. Be consistent and persistent, and you'll get there. And you got to trust that. What were you going to say?
Well, first of all, I think that, patience is the most underrated thing in the world. We all want results immediately for whatever the new habit is that we want to do. We all are impatient. We all want what we want when we want it. And I was having a conversation with a 5-year-old about this today, and every day. But yeah, I think that patience is the. I heard it said that people really overestimate how much they can do in a year, and underestimate how much they can do in 10.
Okay, that's a good one.
But my big thing about all of this is, what if the habits that you're trying to create are creating good habits? You're trying to be in the habit of creating good habits.
Is that a question?
That is a question.
So re-say it, because I don't get it.
As you are saying this, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, all of this. I know all of this. Obviously, like, we've been doing this for a long time. So I've heard all of this, and like, these are my goals to do these things. And I'm like, great, perfect. This is what I want. This is what I want. This is what I want. I know how to get it. It's all, 10 of these things.
Yeah.
And yet I'm like, and I fall short on the actual creating a habit of creating a habit. Like, so my habit that I want to get into is using this list of 10 steps more. Does that make sense, or am I just wasting everyone's time with this comment?
No, but it'll come down to, basically, then you start fresh. That's how I start with my clients that are stuck. I literally say, okay, let's go through all your values. So life domains, education, couple, kids, work, etc., community, health, fitness. And we clarify which ones are a priority, because they can't be all 10 out of 10. So we clarify their values. What's their vision for their life now and, let's say, the next 5 years? And then we work our way back. Okay, let's pick one. So let's pick for the next 3 months health and wellness, because I always start there, because if you're not healthy mentally or physically, all the other things don't matter. So I always tell people, if you have a list this big, start with the first one, your self-care, so your health and wellness. And okay, how's your nutrition? How's your exercise, sleep? And then we break it down again. So your values, it always comes down to your values and the life I call it a life blueprint, the life you want to live. And how do you want to feel specifically, but also thinking the choices you make today determine the life you're going to have in the next 5 years. Because the life you have today is based on choices you made 2 to 10 years ago. So when you go down, 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 down to the basics of values and how do you want to design your life, then you work your way up. Okay, what habits? What are the areas of life I prioritize? And then you can decide what habits you want to start. And then while you keep that list close, it is really a process that you really have to sit down. I have a whole blueprint I use with clients that I took from daily greatness journals. They're amazing. And it's a big sheet and we work through all that. So it's really an exercise where you really have to think about it. And it takes time, patience. You could do that in an evening or a weekend. Does it answer your question? You're muted.
It does.
Okay.
It does actually. Sorry.
Okay.
I hit the cough button and then I forgot to turn it back on. No, that answers my question a lot. So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
How is the group going? The Facebook group, which I encourage everybody to join, and the Clarity
Women of
Formula
Clarity.
program.
Yeah.
Yep, the Women of Clarity group, and the and you can go on that link. Does that link still work? That I'm using right now?
Yes, we fixed it. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so the Facebook group is amazing. We have over 500 women right now, and the group is very, very active, which is kind of fun. They're interacting with each other, with me, and today we have a 1-week challenge, so it's not too late to come in. It's a self-care challenge, and this week has to do with screens. It's pretty simple. It's not heavy duty. It's baby steps, right?
Yeah.
So if people come into the group, they can sign up for that as well.
Awesome.
It's free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. It's time for our moment of gratitude. Gina, can you tell everybody why we end every episode with a moment of gratitude?
People are grateful, are happier, basically, or they're more content with life. They suffer less, and they can deal with adversity better if you're grateful and you see what's right with your life as opposed to just looking at what's not right with it.
I love it. I have to go first, don't I?
Yep.
I am grateful for today. I am grateful for elections.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Today I'm grateful for elections. I'm not going to get political at all on here. But I'm very grateful that we have the opportunity to voice our opinions you and I are in different countries right now. But we have a big election in America tomorrow. You may have heard of it. And and I think it's an important thing that we all have the ability to have a say and to let our voices be heard. And there's a lot of muck around all of that right now here. But in general, like, I'm really grateful for, we don't have kings and queens and monarchs, and we are able to whatever extent, and I mean, this could be an argument that you could fight about, but whatever, like the freedom that we all have is very important, and the fact that we get to vote on things is something that I don't want to take for granted. So I'm going to remember that and be very grateful for the next 48 hours about elections. Gina?
Yeah, I was gonna say that we really take for granted, but we've been awakened how we take for granted our freedom. Right, we think it's always going to be there, but we've seen after what's happening in the States and around the world how it's very easy to lose that freedom. Yay! So I'm grateful too for two things: that freedom to live in a democracy. Like, no political system is perfect, but at least you and we don't live in a dictatorship. So we still have some freedoms and awesome benefits in both our countries. So I'm grateful for that as well.
Where can people find you, Gina?
In the Facebook group, Women of Clarity, and drmarjoriegrano.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I can't wait. This week has been crazy. I'm doing some stuff for Election Day tomorrow. So this week has been crazy, but I'm taking the course.
Yes,
awesome. and I'm excited about that. So I'll let everybody know more about it. Also, before we end, I just want to say from Gina and I, our heartfelt condolences. Crystal is not with us tonight because they had to put down one of their pets. And that is always an extremely, extremely difficult time and situation. And I know that her animals are truly part of the family. So our condolences to Crystal. We love you, and we hope that you're back next week.
Yeah, sending you a huge hug.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Carolyn. Carolyn said thank you both. Thank you, Carolyn.
Thank you, Carolyn.
All right, Gina. Have a wonderful day. Wish us luck tomorrow.
Good luck tomorrow. You win your elections.
Bye.
Bye.
For more information or to book an appointment with Dr. Gina, go to drmandragrano.com or click the link in the description of this episode.